Hello everyone and welcome back here to Dreamhack Austin. My name is Solid Jake, joined here with Zoya, and we're going into Tempo Storm versus Astral Authority. The draft has actually already been done, so we can actually just take a look at the draft that did happen just a few moments ago.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the draft here real quick. We do see that the team on the left, that will be Tempo Storm, running the double support Lily Brightwing composition. They have two very powerful heroes with it, the Kel'Thas and of course on the other side will be Astral Authority.
Now, you know, Tempo Storm busting out the Brightwing Lily, it's definitely not a common thing, especially here in North America. Lily did have the Water Dragon buffed recently. It does hit much harder. It's more impactful for sure, but this is still very much not a common thing, especially for Tempo Storm.
Yeah, I can say they do it in scrims. But everyone has mixed results with it. Every team is scrimming multi-support comps with Lily, but it's just always mixed results. So it's still hard to tell where exactly she falls in that.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. Well, it sounds like we are ready to go for our first game here in this best of 3 series on Sky Temple. Let's jump right on in.
So here we go, guys. Sky Temple, one of my personal favorite maps. Let's make some noise on the left-hand side of the map. It's going to be Astral Authority. Collusion on ETC. Uther being played by Dark Chimera. Frozen X on Falstad. Equinox on Illidan. And then Talking Trees playing Tassadar.
And their opponents on the right side, that is Tempo Storm. We have Tempo Storm Urho going to be playing Muradin. Tomster going to be on Sonya. We have KO playing the Kel'Thas. Zix on Brightwing. And Goku playing the Lily.
Yeah, it's going to be a really cool game, guys. I'm excited to watch this. Now, you have to remember, Tomster was a former teammate of every one of these guys except for Equinox. And again, we talked about how they're always like, Tomster is our rival, Tempo Storm's our rival, but that is all with love. They all get along. I mean, even last night I saw them playing that, but we have a fight breaking out.
Yeah, a lot of damage going out there. Goku on Lily, running away, just flanking from the backside. Living Bomb doing a good bit of damage to the side of AA, but we see some huge damage going in. Illidan using the dash to get away.
Yeah, well, it looked like people were very low at one point on the end of Tempo Storm. Even without Zix having Blink Heal yet, you saw the sustain from that double support composition, and they all walk away very healthy. Now, I'll have to keep an eye on how these lanes are going to go. We do have a global on each side, so they're going to be trying to abuse that as much as possible.
Yeah, Brightwing and Falstad, both those global heroes controlling the bottom lane. Of course, first two temples are middle and top for this battleground. And it's just pretty even soaking. Taking a look at the talents, we do see pretty much standard play. We're going to go for the additional mana, or actual conjures both the supports on the side of Astral Authority. For Tempo Storm, how exactly are we going to see Lily build in this game?
Well, most of the time I prefer seeing the blind build versus Illidan's, but we still see a variance with the Water Dragon, or the Dragon build where you go for the extra damage here. Like the Kel'Thas pick up here, sometimes we do see Felon Fusion for the extra sustain here. Gravilaps goes down onto Collusion. Nice stunts going out as well. The Polymorph connects with Illidan. Can he get out?
Beautiful heal there from Uther, going to be able to get that Illidan topped off the last moment, and Falstad has flown up from the bottom lane. No additional soak going to happen, making sure they have all hands on deck for this middle shrine. Top, we do see Goku on Lily just getting in position, and he will be controlling that for the side of Tempo Storm right now.
Still no first blood. We see both teams trying to contest this point here. It's going to be Tassadar versus Lily in the top, and it looks like Tempo Storm is controlling most of the shots up there. We do see Collusion taking some light poke, but still, it's very evenly contested here, but a lot of poke going down the front line of Astral Authority.
Yeah, Uther doesn't necessarily have the ability to spam heals. You can already see his mana is very low. So all of that poking going in onto Collusion is quite impactful. They're also losing the charges on the shrine. So right now Tempo does get bullied off both with Equinox roading up to the top lane. But we do see Goku is going to try to get in there.
We do see Tempo Storm forcing the fight here. A lot of damage going down onto Collusion. The Polymorph is there, but not enough damage to secure a kill there. Dark Chimera, again, very right now, has to back off, and it looks like Tempo Storm should be able to control the rest of the shots in mid.
I cannot believe that Goku managed to win that fight at the top shrine, really forcing Equinox back, but that's just the power of the new Lily, I suppose.
Lots of damage. Looks but the damage is coming out there. Well, she be safe? No, she does end up falling. So first blood going over to Astral Authority, and they're going to get the rest of the shots top, Jake.
Beautiful rotation there. They realized that, they weren't going to win that middle shrine. The shots were just about out, so they went for the last-minute rotation. Falstad flew up to make sure they could get the kill on Goku, who had been playing rather, aggressively and confident all during that phase.
Well, taking a look at the state of the game right now, we have about a full level lead here for Astral Authority, and they're already starting those bruisers very early. It looks like Sonya is doing the same thing on the end of Tempo Storm, so very early caps here for both these teams. Sometimes we like to see those capped around the time Shrine spawn, but with there being a double global, it gets cleared up either way.
Yeah, that's a good point. And neither team really has a huge advantage in the top either, since the Shrine was a bit split up between both both Illidan and Lily during that. They will cap those Knights very quickly. And like you said, they're not going to do too much, just making sure they have the resource and the push there. Looking at the experience right now, Astral Authority, repping a full level lead, about to have that level 7 talent tier advantage, and that's why they're party bushing, waiting for Tempo to potentially step forward towards these Giants.
Yeah, they might get a gank here in the bottom lane as Urho is very far forward. He does have Dwarf Toss up, but the power slide connects, no follow-up, and they're trying to turn this around. Tempo Storm gets the follow-up on the collusion, and there's enough to almost kill him. Will the chain bomb? No, he doesn't go down.
Beautiful heals there. The shield from Tassadar just barely enough, but the rest of the team is in a bit of a bad spot. Dark Chimera taking huge damage, but the peel from Tassadar and the support is good. Goku incredibly low. The heals from Lily will top them off.
I think Tempo Storm could have killed Collusion there, but I think everyone thought at the same time, okay, one of my teammates will finish him off, and they all swapped to someone else to try and get a second kill, and they ended up getting no kills because of it.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, to Tempo Storm, for them to not to lose someone when they're down 7-6, it's kind of a big win for them. Yes, they almost got the kill, but not losing, they've caught up in experience, they've completely evened things out with Brightwing soaking that top lane. During that, they had this Night push, which actually did get value since Six was able to stay in the top, and this has really turned things around and put them back to a perfectly even position.
This is always a tier I like to see with Murden, especially when he's with a Kael'thas, because most of the time you do use your trait with the Gravity-Lapse to hit multiple targets, and with Murden's pair that oftentimes we see Pierce, but this time we're seeing Urho go with the battle momentum just to get more consistent stuns out. So I like the diversity on Murden's level 7 tier when you get compositions like this.
Okay, well, bottom temple currently being controlled by Tempo Storm. Urho just sitting on that point, and we do see that Astral Authority is looking to invade. They're making their way down. They have every single member except Falsat, who is now flying, ready for the approach. Ziggs will rotate just now.
You see the power slide connect. They're trying to back out of here. Spear from Tomster does not connect, but for the moment, Tempo Storm is going to control this point. Astral Authority playing very safe right now. Love the aggressive positioning coming here from Dark Chimera, and they're going to force Tempo off.
Yeah, they get a big collapse there onto the bottom. That's a huge amount of damage going in, but the support is coming through. We do see huge damage on Illidan as well. Equinox trying to back out of there. We do see the shield also connecting.
KO does fall. Nice damage onto Kael'thas to get the power slide onto Urho, and he's going to be another kill going over to Astral Authority. Tomster does get stunned out, but he is going to be able to get out there, and that is a full level lead here for Astral Authority as they're hitting level 10.
Yeah, so the first 50% of that Shrine went all the way to Tempo Storm with no contention whatsoever, but they just flipped that switch. They decided to go ham, and now they have their heroics full level lead. The rest of the Shrine with their way. They're even attempting a boss.
Yeah, this is, and this makes so much sense. You're up a full level, you have 10, you just killed off some people. They're going to be rotating to side lanes to try and soak, so you can easily get a boss in here. Very good shot calling coming out from Equinox, and this is Sky Temple. This is one of the more snowballing maps. This is a very bad spot for Tempo Storm to be in.
Yeah, it's not good whatsoever. We do see Metamorphosis Force, Small Mighty Gust, Divine Shield, and it is going to be the Mosh Pit. There are quite a few responses to the Mosh Pit, so it's not something you're often going to see initiated with unless he knows he can lock down several members at once, where it's Polymorph, Stormbolt, Gravity Lapse, Ancient Spear, so many options to disrupt that. It's going to be tricky to see that get value from Collusion.
Really cool talent pickup at level 7 for Sonya. Tomster going with Poison Spear instead of the Ferocious Healing. They have the double support. They have a lot of healing between Brightwing and Lily, so instead of going for his own self-sustain, he's going for a little bit more damage to help secure kills. Really cool pickup.
Wow, so much damage thrown into Equinox there, but with the support of Tassadar and Uther, doesn't look like any damage was taken whatsoever. Tempo about to secure level 10, but they will lose this bottom four, so that's going to give a nice structural advantage to the side of Astral Authority. But do we see the Water Dragon? Oh yeah.
Yep, Water Dragon, kind of the staple Lily pick here. It's going to be Phoenix as well as Wrath of Berserker. No leap game this time. Yeah, I guess that doesn't happen when Gilly's not casting.
And no Emerald Win either. So pretty much what we would expect with this composition, unorthodox or not. Tempo Storm, we're going to have to see if this can pan out. Now, of course, a big part of this Water Dragon is dealing with Illidan. He dives in, he's deep by himself. Yes, that the Divine Shield can come out to get him out of that spot, but if you force Divine Shield just because of Water Dragon, that's a win in itself.
Yeah, and it does a lot of damage, and we saw without heroics, without 16, where both Sonya and Kael'thas get much more powerful, they almost killed Equinox in that fight. So now as they're going more and more damage and they're getting those damage heroics, Equinox has to be much more mindful of his team fights.
Yeah, but level 13 is closing in pretty fast. We have the Shrine in both top and bottom, and we're going to have to see if Astral Authority wants to bring the pressure on. Now, oftentimes we see additional presence in the bottom lane because of that boss being an option, but the boss has already been picked up, so that's irrelevant at this point.
Really smart, Jake. Yeah, that's exactly why you see them at the bottom. I love this from Tempo Storm and Astral. They both take their bruiser camps with this timing in mind, so whoever wins this is going to get more damage. We do see that Tomster is very far forward. There doesn't have the spear to replenish himself. A lot of damage coming out, and Tomster falls.
Yeah, beautiful initiation there with that force wall locking Sonya in. Power Slide securing the kill, and they are engaging hard. Equinox in the front, and Illidan. Polymorph has already been spent. Gravity Labs connects as well, but they just can't deal with him. He has so much space, and we do have a beautiful mosh pit locking down 3 members in that fight. Astral Authority is just picking Tempo Storm apart. And the force wall! Urho will be able to jump in, but 3 members for nothing.
That's 6 kills to 0 already, Jake. That's 2 forts down, and neither of the shrines have been contested. Just a little bit of shots from both. So that will be the 3rd and final fort of Tempo Storm falling if they still control most of these shots. And now they're 13 versus 12.
Wow, about 14 versus 12. They're just really, propelling forward. You said this map is a little bit snowbally, and we're seeing why. They're able to win these fights. They have the talent tier advantage, and now they're going to have 2 shrines they can control. Falsehead, realizing that everyone's back up, doesn't want to sit there at that bottom shrine, a little bit risky, even though he can barrel roll over that gap on the left side. Doesn't want to take any unnecessary risks, and I love that.
Let's see here what Tempo Storm plans to do to get back in this game. They're not so far behind. Usually in a situation like this, when it feels very snowbally, the team will be hitting 16 about the other team hitting 13. But Tempo Storm will have a very small window where they will be on the same talent tier as Astral Authority here, but they're not there yet, and that's why you're seeing them just give up this point.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good bit of ammunition left. Just the final few shots going out here, but it's worth stealing every single one. Now Goku on Lily, getting hit by the face melt, going back, huge damage from Illidan, and the force wall will secure that kill. Losing Lily like this left and right, losing one hero at a time, is really not the way that Tempo Storm wants to be doing it.
Yeah, Tempo Storm just getting picked apart time and time again. Really good shot calling coming out from Equinox, and great initiation from Collusion. Just not afraid to go down. And KO might be dead here too. The Gravity Labs comes out. The slow from Hammering is there. There's the Uther stun. Can they get him? The force wall is beautiful, but can he get away? No, KO falls.
Man, that shrink ray into Hammer of Justice just secured that force wall's timing to come down, and just the inevitable was there. KO's down, staggered death. Sure, Lily's back in action. Doesn't really matter because 15 seconds without Kael'thas. Without Kael'thas, they don't have the damage output to do anything to the double support of Astral Authority, and they're going to get another kill. No, Urho gets the Dwarf Toss out, but the force wall there onto Sonya. Tomster's going to be able to get away.
Man, talking trees, man. We talk about his Tyrande a lot. His Tassadar has been on point this game, too. Those force walls have been money. That was just slightly misplaced. There comes the teleport in. The Gust comes out. Urho's going to charge in. They want to fight this 13 versus 16. This is very bold from Tempo Storm.
Well, Divine Shield was just completely wasted. They threw it on Illidan. I'm not really too sure why. So spending Divine Shield like that, yes, they got the keep, but they, at that moment, they really just had to kind of back away.
Yeah, they did get out. They have 16 versus 13 right now, so they're so far ahead. And like you said, Jake, they got the keep. This is such a huge lead here for Astral Authority. And I don't know what Tempo Storm needs to do to get back in there. I mean, they just need to start getting picks, but the positioning from Astral Authority has just been perfect so far. No one's overextending at all.
All right, well, this roster of Astral Authority, in the past, they've looked pretty solid, but I gotta say, Equinox is making them look like on another level. They're very aggressive. They're turning up the heat in this game so far. Tempo Storm, in an act of desperation, is attempting to get a boss. We see Urho pulling 3-4 members into this top lane, trying to get away. Nice Storm Bolt, but is it enough? The Shrink Ray has come out.
This is a great play. Even if Urho dies, he is going to go down, but that secured Tempo Storm a boss. And that's on the lane that they don't have a fort. This is going to do damage to the keep, so if Tempo Storm somehow gets a wipe at some point, they have the ability to go for a keep and potentially go core. So they made the best out of that situation they possibly could, but this might be bad.
Wow, very deep is Equinox on Illidan, really trying to stall them out. Ancient Spirit over the wall. Falsehead is flying in. Beautiful force wall. Don't even have to spend the Mighty Gust. That is the best case scenario. And KO. Will he be able to get out of this?
He gets the shield from Ziggs there. The Gravity Labs doesn't connect. Equinox is diving deep. Dark Chimera struggling to keep up. There comes the Divine Shield. Moshpit, they get KO in it. He's going to end up going down. And now they're going for core. Urho's back up, though.
Oh my goodness, the cores, the shields are going to fall very quickly here. This is a 3 versus 5 in favor of Astral Authority. Only 13 minutes into this game, Astral Authority will close it out and take game number 1 of this best of 3 series.
What beautiful play coming, and you pointed out, man, Equinox's aggression was perfect in that set. Always going in deep, and they didn't even make, this is why we always doubt Lily picks. This is why we're always like, you know, maybe it's different for you. Every time I cast a Lily game, it makes no sense. I mean, you casted a win the other day, but they just picked apart Lily and this composition so well.
You know, I casted a Lily game, but it still didn't look good to me, right? And Lily always just feels a kind of meh. Yes, we saw Goku have some strong presence in the early game, but eventually that hero just didn't have the impact that they needed. It never looked like the blinds amounted to denying Equinox any of his aggression because he was just in their face all game long.
Yeah, that was just such great shot calling.
There he is, Equinox.
Equinox, man. That is their newest shot caller. They're replacing for Thompson, and they are looking great, man. You know, there are so many teams that it could just implementing a shot caller just changes everything. You know, whether or not you want to make the argument of Equinox also being a better player than Thompson, just adding the shot calling effect is enough.
Shot calling and drafting, right?
Yeah, drafting is great.
All right, well, that was a very interesting opening to that, obviously. At the beginning, we thought, oh, well, the compositions are in a different round. But that was to happen, and we are now back from our long extended break. But overall, it really felt like Astral Authority never dropped the ball the whole time, and they didn't really take massive risks later on down the line as well. I mean, even when they took that keep, and they just popped Divine Shield for it, got the keep, it was like, well, let's back on out and play very, very safely after not really overextending too much, right?
Yeah, it was a very safe call on their part right there. I mean, it was one of those things where they had to back up. I'm trying to figure out where it went wrong here. We have a couple replays we're going to take a look at. The first one, I believe, is going to be at the bottom temple, and we're going to see, or this is going to be the top temple here where Lily gets picked off. We're going to see the power slide right into the stun and the kill there, and that really started to turn the tide very early on in the game when we take a look at just where they started to come in. And one of the key moments, guys, later we're going to take a look at the second replay here, was when Brightwing was on the bottom temple and we saw Illidan on the top. And 4 members of Tempo all rotated to the top because they had the camp pushing, and that just really didn't work out in their favor. And we're going to take a look at that replay here in just a moment. I mean, that was the biggest thing. This right here, the minute Brightwing hops on and those shots come off, Illidan instantly comes off the top temple here and engages as Tomster goes in really deep without his team. And this is very, very difficult spot to be in. The minute they took down Tomster, they were able to rotate this over. And I know you guys saw this as the Metamorphosis. We see the phase shield come in here onto KO. And it was pretty much chaos. Astral Authority was just in full control. And I think you guys called it. The force wall here was absolutely beautiful. Right after this mosh pit, we're going to see a force wall that was just unbelievable.
Yeah, and this happened twice. It also happened in bottom lane that ended up leading to a kill on the keep. Ziggs teleporting in was just really late. Now, it comes down to whether if Ziggs were to teleport in that moment where Thompson was so far overextended, you also put yourself in a bad position where you can get killed off. So it's whether you weigh the risk there. So was it a mistake from Ziggs? Was it not? It's such a hard call to make. And I would say that hurt them a lot in both those times.
It's hard to make the decision, too, because the earlier fight where Tempostorm actually didn't have Ziggs, Ziggs stayed in the top lane, and he actually got a ton of added value. That brought Tempostorm back up to an even level, and it paid off. So it's obviously his mentality, like, right, can I stay here? It's going to give us a nice edge, help us catch up to level 13, which we're already behind in. So we do need that experience, and just holding off there, Tomster fell. The moment Tomster died, level 13 was achieved, so a bad situation became a horrible situation.
I mean, of course, there was that moment where they did try and take the boss. Neho sacrificed himself up to the top. But as you said, rightfully during the cast, they have to do something ridiculous to try and get back into that game. But of course, that is game number 1 done here for now. Make sure to go over to gear.blizzard.com and check out our limited time offer. 15% off all of the Heroes of the Storm goodies over there with the code, as you can see, presented below. So very, very nice. There's lots of good stuff on there. I've probably bought every single thing. I've got a lot.
I own most of it. I looked at the list and I'm like, I own too many Blizzard things.
I was saying in our hotel room, actually all my clothes are gaming related, all my bag is gaming related, my book is material. So there you go. But anyway, guys, we are going to go to a break, but when we are back, it will be game number 2 between Astral Authority and Tempostorm.